90% of interviews involve behavioural questions. Now, these questions require you to give evidence and examples of the skills and experience that that company is looking for. Now, they come in the form of, tell me about a time when, describe a situation where you had to do this, tell me about a time when you faced this, and how did you handle it? So again, it's just trying to tease out examples and evidence of the skills and experience that you say you've got on your CV. On the surface, these type of questions sound really tough. And they are tough if you're going to walk into the interview without having practiced and prepped your answers to these common behavioural interview questions. You're going to be sat there trying to think of examples of a time when you did this on the spot. You're going to have to think back through your job history, and the danger is that you may go off topic and actually end up not answering the question at all. So it's really, really important that you plan and prepare answers to these questions. The good news is that there is one really simple way that you can answer any behavioural question, and that's using the STAR technique. STAR stands for situation, task, action and result. So what this structure does is provide you a 4-step structure to answering these sorts of questions, starting with situation and working your way down to result. Following this structure is going to make sure that you stay on topic and that you provide all the evidence and examples that the interviewer is looking for, and it's going to make sure that you answer the question in a really clear and concise way. So grab a pen and paper or an iPad or laptop if you're way more down with the kids than I am, and let's jump straight in with the first step of the structure. So starting with the S at the top, and that stands for situation. What you want to do before answering any behavioural interview question is think of a situation that's relevant to what the interviewer is asking you about, and that situation has got to have a successful outcome. Now, the situation doesn't necessarily have to be work related, so maybe if you're a student or a graduate and haven't got a ton of work experience, don't worry at all. You just need to be making sure that the evidence and the example that you're giving is, again, relevant to the question that the interviewer is asking you, and try and make it memorable. Try and think of something a little bit different and that makes you stand out from the crowd. So once you've thought about the example situation, all you want to do at the start of your answer is just set the scene for the interviewer. So you just want to be explaining the situation in a sentence or two, the who's, the what's, the where's, the why's, and again, just providing a clear and concise summary of that situation. Once you've done that, we're going to move on to part 2 of your answer, and that's task. So what you want to be doing here is describing the task that you were assigned in that situation, talking about what you were personally responsible for, and make sure that it is about you, because obviously this is an interview about you here. But if you're giving an example of when you worked in a team, that's great, but again, just hone in on your personal responsibilities. What you also want to do briefly in this part of your answer is also maybe just explain what the challenge was in that situation that you were facing personally too. That's just going to set you up nicely for the rest of your answer, where we're going to be explaining how you overcame that challenge. That's always something really good to show the interviewer. So just nudge that into this part of your answer as well. So now that you've set the scene and you've clearly and concisely explained the task that you were personally responsible for, the next step, and this is one of the key steps, it's talking about the action that you took in that situation. Now, the key to producing a first-class employable answer here is not only just explaining how you handled that situation and what you did in that moment. You want to make sure that your answer is displaying the key skills and or experience that that particular employer and interviewer is looking for. So how do you know what that interviewer is looking for? Number one, the job description is gold dust because it's literally going to set out the ideal candidate will have these skills and this experience. So when you're planning your answer, just have that beside you, and when you're thinking of your situations and your actions, use that job description as a reference and make sure that your answers are then reflecting exactly what it is that the interviewer is looking for. You're literally just going to be doing the job for them, showing them, yep, I have all the experience, all the skills and all the qualities that you're looking for. And secondly, something to always fall back on when preparing for these type of answers is just remembering there are 6 universal key employability skills that no matter what job, what company and what industry you're applying for, every single employer is going to be wanting you to have these qualities. So we're actually just about to film a video that talks you through these key 6 employability skills and what they actually mean. So look out for that video as well. But again, when planning and preparing your answers, just make sure that the skills that you are demonstrating in your answer match up with any of the 6 employability skills, and you'll be in for a winner. And the same with the job description. Again, just make sure they reflect exactly what that person's looking for. Remember, the interview is about selling yourself as the perfect candidate for that role. So once you've explained that action and you've demonstrated all those amazing qualities about yourself, you then need to sum up your answer by telling them, right, this is the action I took and what was the result? What was the successful outcome of that situation? So what you want to do here is tell them about the outcome, but more specifically, how your actions contributed to that successful outcome. So you want to be answering questions like, what did you accomplish here? How did you better the results for the team? How did you help to achieve the target? How did you surpass expectations? You can use quantitative results here if you want to get really down to the details and the nitty gritty, because remember, again, we're providing evidence here. So how much profit did you make? How many sales did you make? How many customers did you impact? So use numbers, that's a really great way. You also want to be factoring any positive feedback as well that you receive, whether that's from managers, fellow colleagues, customers and clients as well. So maybe you've had rewards and recognitions at work for the work you've done, so that's a really good result. Maybe you've had a really great customer feedback, maybe you rated really highly on a mystery shop or something. Factor in all that positive feedback too. Now, if you want to go one step further with your answer, because a lot of people obviously know about the S.T.A.R technique and will be using the 4 steps to answer the interview question, which is great. But if you want to take it one step further and bump up your answer to the next level, what I like to do after explaining the result of the situation is talk about what I learned. Just really briefly say what I learned from this was X, Y, and Z, and to make the situation even better next time, I would do X, Y, and Z. Or maybe you applied what you learned to another situation. Just briefly talk about that as well, because again, that's just going to make your answer stand out from the crowd, and it's going to show that you analyze and you evaluate what you do and that you want to try and better yourself and better the results. That's going to be a really, really positive quality that that interview is going to be looking for. So if you can fit that in, I would definitely recommend it. So that is how you answer any behavioural question. So my advice would be to get on Google and just Google practice behavioural interview questions. There's going to be questions online, probably hundreds of them, but there'll be questions as well that will be specific to the job role and industry that you're applying for. So get on Google and just spend time sitting down with the job description, the S.T.A.R technique template, and just come up with examples and evidence of situations and actions in response to those common interview questions. You just want to make sure that you're not walking into that interview and into the complete unknown, having to think of things on the spot. It's just going to knock your confidence. You need to plan, you need to prep. Use this 4-step technique to answer the questions and you will absolutely smash it. Remember, there's only so many questions that an interviewer can ask you as well. So as you move through your career path and gain more experience, just keep a bank of like all your practice answers and just add to it when you gain more experience, so that when it comes to then applying for jobs and going for interviews, you've already practiced these things, you already know this stuff. So again, just try and avoid the unknown. be practiced, practice, and be prepared, and it's just going to make you feel so much more confident. So that concludes the S.T.A.R technique interview video here. Remember guys, Bloom is all about providing you with the career advice and the life lessons that I wish I had when I was younger, the stuff that you don't get taught at school. So if you did find this video useful, please do give it a thumbs up, share it with any friends that are applying for jobs, and don't forget to subscribe to Bloom. Thanks guys, and best of luck with your interviews. Bye. Please say that was recording, because I'll cry.